Welcome to Man Cave Insider. I'm Dennis. Thank you for joining me. If you like what you see, make sure you subscribe to our channel so you can see past and future videos. This is my man cave. This room is filled with things I've been collecting my entire life, and these are the stories behind them. And today, we're going to be celebrating the 25th anniversary of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. This was arguably one of the most anticipated movies in film history. It grossed over $1 billion worldwide, and it launched the prequel trilogy in 1999. We're going to take a look at the history and release of the film, as well as several items in my collection based around Episode 1. After George Lucas released the third Star Wars film, Return of the Jedi, in 1983, he wanted to stay away from Star Wars as he was frustrated by the limits of special effects technology. During this time, he worked on other films as well as still running Industrial Light and Magic, which continued to set the standard in the special effects industry. In 1992, Steven Spielberg shot Jurassic Park, and upon completion of principal photography, he went to Poland to shoot Schindler's List that same year. Both Spielberg and Jurassic Park producer Kathleen Kennedy asked George Lucas to supervise the sound mix of Jurassic Park, which was being done by Lucasfilm's Skywalker Sound. When Lucas saw the CGI dinosaurs, he realized that the technology was advanced enough to meet his expectations, and he began to focus on a new Star Wars trilogy. Lucas began writing the prequels on November 1st, 1994, based on a 15-page outline that he created when working on the first films. An important factor in the production of the Star Wars prequels was a television series, The Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, produced by Lucasfilm. Lucas kept producer Rick McCallum and many of the department heads from Young Indiana Jones as he began to focus his attention on Episode 1. Lucas also took this time to enhance many of the visual effects from the original trilogy with the release of the Star Wars Trilogy Special Edition in early 1997 to commemorate the 20th anniversary of Star Wars. One of the enhancements was the celebrations at the end of Return of the Jedi, which gave viewers its first glimpse of the planet Coruscant, which would be an integral part of Episode 1 and the entire prequel trilogy. Cast in the film was Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn, Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi, Natalie Portman as Queen Amidala, and Jake Lloyd as Anakin Skywalker. Returning characters included Ian McDiarmid as Palpatine, Frank Oz as Yoda, and Anthony Daniels as C-3PO. Keira Knightley, who would later appear in Pirates of the Caribbean, was cast as Padmé's double because of her resemblance to Natalie Portman. Sofia Coppola, daughter of Francis Ford Coppola, was preparing to direct her first film, The Virgin Suicides. She asked Lucas if she could accompany him to observe the filming of Episode 1. And Lucas offered her a role as a member of Amidala's entourage, which Coppola described as a good vantage point without getting in the way. On a side note, Hayden Christensen, who would play Anakin Skywalker in Episodes 2 and 3, had a small part in The Virgin Suicides. Many people don't realize this, but Episode 1 was an independent film that was financed completely by Lucasfilm. Although it was released through 20th Century Fox, they had no input in the production and development and strictly served as the film's distributor. Principal photography of Episode 1 took place from June to September of 1997, giving production 2 years to create all of the special effects shots. In total, Episode 1 had 1,950 special effects shots, the most of any film released in the 20th century. In comparison, The Matrix, which was also released in 1999, had only 412 effect shots. Lucas also had several Easter eggs throughout the film. One shot of the Galactic Senate featured 3 ETs in one of the pods. When the first trailer was released in November of 1998, it caused an immediate frenzy. People were going to the theaters to pay to see the trailer and leaving before the feature film. Some theaters even showed the trailer before and after the feature. The first ever Star Wars celebration took place in Denver in April of 1999. Fans began to line up at the Chinese Theater in Hollywood Boulevard 1 month before the film's release. Because of the anticipation and the demand of Star Wars Episode 1, George Lucas made several demands that the theaters had to follow in order to exhibit the film. They were not allowed to hand out passes. They also had to show the film in its largest auditorium for the first 8 weeks, and were only allowed to show 8 minutes of trailers. Opening day of The Phantom Menace, some tickets were being sold by scalpers for as high as $100, and it is estimated that in the United States alone, 2.3 million full-time employees missed work to attend Star Wars on this opening day. Episode 1 would gross $924 million worldwide on its initial release and surpassed $1 billion after a 2012 3D re-release of the film. Towards the end of the summer of 1999, Episode 1 became the first film ever shown on a digital projector on 4 screens, 2 in New York and 2 in Los Angeles, one of which was in Burbank, just a few minutes from where I lived, and I was able to see the film twice with a digital projection. When The Phantom Menace was released on VHS in April of 2000, it sold over 5 million copies. It was eventually released on DVD in October of 2001, and it sold 2.2 million copies its first week. Without question, the expectation of Episode 1 was far and above any film ever released. People wanted the film to recreate the magic that they had experienced in 1977 when they saw Star Wars for the very first time. So in many people's eyes, the film was destined to be a disappointment because of the unreasonable expectations. Personally, I loved the film. I saw it 3 times opening weekend, and I saw it many more times throughout the summer. From a special effects standpoint, there are so many shots in this film that is absolutely stunning. And seeing the film on the big screen, the sound was absolutely incredible. And of course, there's the iconic score by John Williams. What I have here is several things from my Episode 1 collection. When the film was released on VHS, I got this widescreen collector's edition, and I also got the film the day it was released on DVD in 2001. Behind me, I have the poster for the original release. And what I have next to me is a life-size Yoda statue that was given away by Blockbuster Videos to coincide with the release of the film on VHS. So let's go ahead and take a look at my Phantom Menace collection. So I have several magazines that I've kept since 1999 with articles on the release of Star Wars Episode 1. This is Entertainment Weekly that was released March of 1999, one of the first looks at the film. And they also did a follow-up cover story in May of 1999 as it got closer to the release. Premiere Magazine also did a cover story with several different covers. This is one cover which features Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn, and another cover features George Lucas and Jake Lloyd as Anakin Skywalker. I was also lucky enough to meet Ahmed Best, who played Jar Jar Binks at a convention last year, and I have this autographed photo. And I do have several versions of the film on different formats. So we're going to start with 4K and work our way back. I have it as part of the Skywalker Saga 4K release that was released in 2020, where it has a page dedicated to each film. I have the Star Wars Complete Saga released on Blu-ray, and this was before Lucasfilm merged with Disney. And there's Episode 1. So here's the DVD release of Episode 1, and this was the first ever Star Wars film to be released on the DVD format. This comes on 2 discs, one for the film, one for the bonus features. And when it was released originally on VHS, it was released in the full screen and widescreen format. And the widescreen version of the film was released in this collector's edition. Inside, It has several frames from one of the prints of the film, and it comes with this book, The Art of Episode 1. With foreword by Doug Chang, and it gives you an insight into the development of the film, which took several years to accomplish. These are different versions of Jar Jar Binks and the Gungans. And with the original trilogy, they stayed away from specific designs due to the constraints of the effects and of the budgets. But for the prequel trilogy, they really dug deep into the look of the film. The different planets, the costumes, the cultures, a more extensive look at the Jedis, different proposed looks for Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn. And this is a great part of the release. Then it has the widescreen version of the film on VHS. There's no bonus features. It's just the film. So that is it for our look at Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, celebrating its 25th anniversary. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and may the Force be with you.